Somehow. How would I
Good
do
morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. It is Thursday, November 23rd, and we are coming on because obviously we feel like it's important to come on here and chat to you on Thanksgiving. We know some of you are sitting there and you have your kids today. We know some of you don't have your kids today, so we thought we would just come on and share the holiday with you this morning as you're probably getting ready and just share some love. We're actually going to share something kind of funny. We're going to talk about all the reasons we're grateful that we're divorced.
Yeah, that's a
I
great
think
topic for today.
I think it's kind of funny. So I'm live on TikTok, you're live on TikTok, and then we are literally across the board everywhere anywhere that you have seen us. This is where we're at. So jump on, tell us what you're doing on this turkey day. Are you with your kids? Are you not with your kids? Are you splitting your kids? Are you getting your kids like at 2:00 this afternoon and
Yes.
sharing your kids?
Hi,
So
Patty, I sent you a DM, I think, a couple days ago. I don't know if you look at your messenger.
Okay. Also, before we get started, you guys, today is the day that I am launching my high conflict co-parenting course. Literally, like maybe 5 minutes before we jumped on, I finalized it. So it is good to go. It is ready. It is located in the subject wherever you're at, or go to whatever freaking link you can find me on, SamanthaBoss.com. I haven't even put on my website yet. Like, that's how fresh it's out, but it is on my link tree. So grab that. And it's going to be, Trey and I talked about this, the guy that helps me, we talked, and the price that I have it at right now is not going to last. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I want to let those people that have been with me the longest, that have known about it the longest, take advantage of a lower price. And then probably at the first of the year, I'm going to increase the price, because we're talking 10 hours of content plus a workbook that is like phenomenal to help you actually be tangible and do stuff to help you in your high conflict journey. But enough about that. So you guys can find that. The link is in the bio. The link is everywhere. So go take advantage of that high conflict co-parenting course. Leah Marie, what are you grateful for today? Just in general, we always talk about gratitude. We always talk about telling these people that they need to practice gratitude. And today is literally like the day of gratitude. So what are you thankful for outside of your divorce? What are you grateful for today? What did you write in your journal this morning?
Well, I mean, lots of things. One thing, first and foremost, is my health. Because I know that is not something that we should take for granted. One of my closest friends, we've been friends for over 30 years. Her nephew was just diagnosed with leukemia. He's 10 years old. So he's spending the hospital in the next month.
Holy shit.
He's spending the next month in the hospital, Thanksgiving in the hospital, starting his chemo. And this shit happens every day. So it puts things in perspective. And I'm grateful that I'm healthy and my family's healthy, because you never fucking know.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, after being sick a couple weeks ago in the hospital, almost having a heart attack, that I would honestly say my health has really become a greater perspective of my life, of realizing, realizing I'm 44. I'm overweight. I'm 190 some pounds now. I have lost 30 pounds, but I have two young kids, and not to dismiss my older kids, but I have two really young kids that deserve to have a mom their whole lives, and not, skimp out early because I just didn't hit pause in my day to day and fucking exercise and pick better choices on meals. And, I quit drinking. I'm 90 some days sober now. And it's just like, that really kind of shook me a little bit to my core. I'm not going to lie, of how easily I was taking advantage of just not even really pausing and going, hey, is that a conscious decision of what you should be eating, drinking, and have you exercised today? I just told you before we got on, like, before I go eat turkey today and before I eat all the shit that today, like, I got to get on the treadmill and do my 2 miles and walk. And I think it's actually nice enough. I might go outside today. I hope it's nice enough. So health is number one, I think, for both of us. Number two for me would honestly just be the fact that I have the most supportive person upstairs. I have been barking at him for 2 days because I'm so stressed out about this launch. And this morning, the man was, rubbing my back and rubbing my arms. And literally, I said, stop touching me. I was overstimulated. And then I was trying to talk to email and my guy that's helping me launch this business. And then he was like, well, hey, do you want to shake? Do you want me to cook you breakfast? I said, stop asking me questions. And then I sat down for a while and I was working, and he walked in and I go, hey, I just have to apologize. Like, I am super wigging out about this launch today. And I said, I apologize for being a complete nutbag to you. And he was like, I totally expected it today. He's like, no big deal. So I'm super thankful for Jared because he's picked up the slack as I've been working my butt off for this thing and getting it ready. So super grateful for him. What about you? What's your number two?
Yeah. Number two, I'm grateful that I have someplace to go, a family to spend the Thanksgiving with.
Yeah.
I spent many, many, many years without that. As a lot of you know, I mean, I lost my parents at a young age, and I'm an only
Yeah.
child. So really, my Thanksgiving hinged on whoever I was dating at the time.
Yeah.
When I was in a relationship, I would spend it with their family. And so every year was different. Like I didn't have any kind of tradition. I never knew where I was going to be or what I was going to be eating or what I was going to be doing
Right.
for Thanksgiving. So, and then over the years, I've made some really good friends because I've been home now. I've also moved a lot. For those of you who don't know, I think I'm at 44 addresses that I've had in my life.
Oh,
And
shut the
so,
door.
yeah, all over the place, all over the country. And so I've also now been back home in Buffalo, New York for I think about 10 years. So I've established, good relationships. And so I've had really good friends and invite me over for Thanksgiving. And it's great. And since I've since gotten married, and so I do have my husband's family, but I am not giving up my friends giving. And
Yeah.
he knows that and he's cool with it. So he's going to his aunt's house. My daughter is with her dad for the Thanksgiving school break. My husband is going to be at his aunt's house, and I'm going to be going to my friends. He's going to have dinner, and then he's going to come over and meet me there and have dessert there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool. That's super sweet. I've only had one friend's Thanksgiving. It's when my parents moved away and I was single. No, I was actually just started dating Jared, and Jared's family's been gone for a long time too, out of the state. So we had a friend, and then now he moved. So then we don't have friends Thanksgiving anymore because he moved as well. We're the only ones left in this godforsaken state for only about 8 more months. But and then we'll be down by everybody all the time. All right, let's jump into the fun shit. Let's jump into why are we grateful that we're divorced? And this may be offensive to some people, but I just think it's goddamn funny because the more we talk about divorce, the more it's going to be okay.
Normalize it.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's
And
normal
we're
to
just
talk
being
about it.
real. I mean, like, we just like to be very real with you guys and transparent.
Right.
And this is really just how we feel. Okay. Thank you, Patty. I just saw your message.
Right.
There's so many reasons, and I honestly think about it all the time.
Yeah.
Here's really the big thing is I love my life now. I
Yeah.
love who I am. I love how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
I love what I get to do every day. I love the relationship I'm in. I would have none of this if I
Yeah.
hadn't left my marriage, my past
Right.
two. I mean, I got divorced twice, and that's when I really did all the work that I should have been doing on myself all along. And so that's another thing I'm really grateful for. If it wasn't for the divorce, who knows? I would have just kept going just as I
Right.
was. No
Right.
self-esteem, no self-worth, settling in relationships, not having enough respect for myself, not setting boundaries, all of this shit.
Yeah.
And so because of my divorce, I was able to really figure out who I was and learn to like myself and have like pride in who I am and feel confident and do things for myself and push myself outside of my comfort zone and then find the love of my life. And I'm in such a
Yeah.
great relationship. This is the best I've ever felt in my life. And I attribute all of that to my divorce. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have anything if it weren't for that.
That's funny you say that because last night Jared and I were standing around the kitchen and joking, and there was something on TV about a guy was talking about being divorced, and he's like, "Will I be your second?" or something like, "I'm grateful I'm not your second husband." And Jared said, "I'm grateful that I'm your second husband." And I said, "I am too, because without my first, we wouldn't have the empire we have of being able to have Jared be at home and me be with the boys and my older kids be home with me full time and be able to help people every day." Like, I think this is what I was destined to do. Like, I really am really coming into that. I think when I went through my divorce and my co-parenting journey, I kept asking my mom over and over again, why is
Yeah.
this so hard? Why is this
Why
happening
is
to
this
me?
happening to me?
Why did what did I do to deserve this? Is it because I eloped? Is it because I
Right.
married him so fast? Like, why does this have to be so fucking hard? Well, it had to be hard because I obviously could handle it. I was strong enough to do it. And then now, because of my teaching background, I'm able to take what happened to me, got an education about it, and now be able to use my platforms to help people not feel alone, not feel like they can't figure this out, not feel like, they're crazy. I know when people get on consults with us, they say, "How do you know so much about my story?" And it's like, because we've lived your
Yeah.
story. We know your
Marketing,
story.
yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm completely grateful that, you know, and I used to have this weird thing in with me. Again, it's just stigma of like thinking, you know, oh, I'm gonna be married twice. Like I'm gonna have two baby daddies. Like just that whole vibe around that, I used to
Right.
think was so negative. And now I completely embrace it. Number one, I had the courage to leave and
Yeah.
own up to that. I made a bad choice. I made a bad choice, and I'm willing to own that and say that out loud. And my children know that I made a bad choice, you know, but I've overcome it, and I've taken it as a tool to learn from to make myself better versus where I was the first 8 years where I was like, woe is me, my life is horrible, like blah
Yeah.
blah
Don't
blah, I'm the
understand.
victim, you know. And again, so going back to what you said, like I've learned so much about myself in this journey of co-parenting with a high conflict person and figuring out who I am and like what I'll tolerate and what I won't tolerate. And the best part of it is watching my kids now see how fucking awesome I am because I am awesome. And then now my kids are awesome
Yeah.
because they've had the ability to see somebody, you know, push boundaries with people and say, fuck you. And like, absolutely not. And now my kids are like, fuck you. Absolutely not. Like, that's really cool
So
to
important.
see. And I would have never done that. Had I stayed married to that piece of shit, I would have never. My kids would be walking around people pleasing little freaking like embryos still of like, I don't know what to do with my life because they would have been scared.
Hmm.
You know, I've taught them to not be scared anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that I just said, kick rocks. Like, you know, I don't even know. Oh, I remember what it was. I don't know if I've ever told the story. My ex-husband was like very controlling and I should have left 1,000 times. Like, it was just one of those, like, you know, he'd
Mhm.
yell at me,
It's just
we'd
most
fight,
women. Most
threat, you
women,
know.
think about it for 2
Right.
years on average before they actually do.
And then the love bombing and all this. Well, I was
Right.
in the living room, he was in the kitchen, and my phone went off. And again, you guys, this is 2008. So we're thinking like the Nokia phone was ringing, you know, and an actual message came through. But again, remember, this is T9ing phases where someone had to like da, 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 to get one letter, da, 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 to get the second letter. So messages were short because nobody had that kind of fucking time. So I was in the living room folding laundry. He was in the kitchen and I heard my phone go off and I didn't run to it because back in the day, you didn't run to your phone. You just, when you went in the room, you maybe checked it, you know, it wasn't attached to your fucking hand. Anyways, I'd heard it go off. 20 minutes later, I go in the kitchen and I picked up my phone and there was no message there. And I said, "Did you look at my phone?" Now, he had looked at my phone 1,000 times before, but there was something about that day where I said, "Did you erase a message?"
Oh, shit.
And he said, "No." And then proceeded to gaslight me like, "Why would you accuse me of that? Do you
Right.
have do you have this is I can remember this like it was fucking yesterday. Do you have messages that I shouldn't see? Is
Yeah.
that why you think I would erase a message because it would be a message that you couldn't show me? Is somebody texting you that I wouldn't approve of? Have you been talking to people?" And it turned into this big, huge fucking thing, right? Well, it took me, because again, this is 2008, guys. It took me till I got my cell phone bill the next month because I marked down the day and the fucking time because I'm like, if this motherfucker is lying, this is it. Literally, I think it only took like 16 days for my literally phone statement to come. And I checked, and sure as shit, there was a text message that was sent to me that day, and he deleted it. And I just like we weren't even fighting that day. I went out to my parents' house and I said, I'm done. Like, can you help me? And my dad was like, look, girl, you've come out here plenty of times and cried wolf and you went back. So he's like,
Mhm.
either shit or get off the pot. I'll be at your
Yeah.
house in 20 minutes. If he isn't packing his bag, don't ever come here again and complain. And I was like, okay. So I went and told him. And my ex-husband was like flabbergasted because again, the real issue happened like 16 days prior. So he was like,
Right.
what the
Like,
fuck
it
is
felt like
going
out of
on?
nowhere, and that's what
Yeah.
people say so many times too. I hear that where, people think, "Oh, it just was out of nowhere. They pulled the rug out from under me." And it's like, was it out of nowhere? Did you forget all of the arguments that led up
Mhm.
to this and all of the lying and cheating and drinking and like, it wasn't out of fucking nowhere, okay?
Right, right. And so that's what it was, you know. I mean, some people ask what it was. It wasn't that moment. It wasn't him deleting the message. It was the feeling I had that this man was standing there blatantly lying right to my face and then accusing me of an action that I didn't do. And it
Yeah.
was just a message, you know. And I don't remember who the message was from. I think it was from a coworker that, you know, it was like to meet somewhere and have a happy hour with like our whole department. And it was like he deleted it. So then I didn't go, you know, because I didn't have the fucking
Wow.
message. Because again, this was so long ago back when messaging wasn't like a huge thing. But the point of it is like it wasn't there was so many, I mean, it was like death of a thousand cuts. It was just,
Yeah.
you know, a Monday, a little argument, a Tuesday, an argument, a Wednesday, accusation, a Thursday, you know, a belittling,
Yeah.
Friday, gaslighting.
Controlling and
You know, where are you going? Who are you talking to? Why are you wearing that? Put your hair back up, you know, like don't wear makeup. Why you have perfume on? Who's that for? Like it was just like I was constantly having to make him feel good about himself. And it was
right.
fucking exhausting because here I was
Knowing
with two little babies. I had a 1 and a 3-year-old that I was like, dude, they need more attention. And by the way, I don't know if anybody else had this. Dating somebody or being with somebody that's jealous that you give time, not angry, jealous that you're giving time to babies over them
mm,
because they need attention. I
yeah.
had 2 clients just yesterday that were like literally their ex-husbands, and these both of these stories, it was men, but women can do this too, that were dating younger women because these women didn't have children and they could give their husbands, you know,
Yeah.
all the attention in the world.
Yeah.
And
That's
they were
definitely
just
like a
like,
narcissist trait, right? Because they need to be
"Yes,
like front and center.
yes." And it's just like, then why'd you have kids? Did you think I wasn't gonna give them, you know, time and energy? Like, it was just so sad and so pathetic. So, there's just so many stories I think we go around. Another reason I'm grateful is because it just taught me that I could fail and succeed. You know,
Yes. Or
like
you
I
could do hard, scary things
oh, yeah, like
and make it through and figure it
right.
out.
Right. I mean, if you think back to like my co-parenting journey, I was so dumb and naive at the beginning on thinking that I knew it all, that I understood it all, that you know, like I could figure this
Or
out.
that you
And
could make it a friendly co-parenting
oh
relationship with somebody
God,
who was a total narcissist and it just wasn't gonna happen.
blinders, blinders. Like I literally thought when I was talking to him, you know, about this divorce that night, I was like, look, you know, you go to a hotel or whatever, you know, I'll take the kids to school and then we can come here and we can talk about it and we'll just work out a schedule. And he literally was like, okay. Well, he was leaving to go on a training for a while, you know, came back in a couple weeks. And I mean, I had set him up in an apartment, everything, given him half everything, and it just went ugly in 2.3 seconds. And I was sitting there like, still trying to make it work. Like here he was, got this high price attorney, was sending me paperwork to take sole custody, and I was still being nice. I mean, he had me so warped in the brain of thinking that he controlled the whole situation. I believed him when he said, I'm going to take the kids from you. I was like, oh my God, he's going to.
Right.
I mean, now I
Right.
know, like, that's just fucking talk. You know, he
Yeah,
was like, I'm not
it's
going to leave you a pot to
attached to
piss
it.
in.
It's
You know,
instilling that fear.
I believed every threat he gave me.
Yeah,
He
and
just
that we
had me
see that a
so beat
lot.
down.
We see that
Mhm.
a lot.
So beat down, you know, and then just going into co-parenting with a high conflict person, being already in that relationship for so long, it started my co-parenting off so rocky that I still kissed his ass. You know, here everybody thinks when you separate from a narcissist or a high conflict person, you're like, okay, once I'm away from it, I'll be a completely different person. Unless you get the help and the tools that we can
Right.
teach you,
Yeah.
you're still going to be that battered
You're
person,
you're
just in a different
programmed.
location.
It's
Mhm,
like how your brain is.
mhm,
It becomes habitual to
mhm,
not wanna step on his toes, not wanna start any arguments or have confrontation. You try to make things easier. You think if you're nicer, then he'll be more cooperative. It's just
mhm.
all of that stuff that you've been doing for years in the relationship, and then you think you can kind of keep that going, but no. I mean, that's where, parallel parenting, and I mean, I didn't even know about that shit until you, but that's where that
Right.
comes into play. It's like, no.
I
You
know.
limit conversation and interaction to only what is absolutely necessary. And that's not because you're being an asshole. And that's not
Right.
because you're trying to be confrontational or complicate things. It's
Right.
because of who you're dealing with. And that is the only way you can navigate that kind of relationship.
Right. And so inside the high conflict co-parenting course that I'm literally launching today, Happy Turkey Day, the gift that keeps on giving, I literally break down all the stuff you need to know about communicating with a high conflict person, all the stuff that outside of school and extracurriculars and teachers and coaches and how to, because I know they're going to bash on you to all these people. How do you work with that? I talk about that. How to help your kids. That's a huge section on how to make sure
Yeah.
you're the safe
So
house, that you're
important.
you're the people that, you know, that your child comes to, how to show your child that you're that safe person that they can open up to, and then how to help yourself. Because I know that's a category a lot of you are, when you're with these high conflict people, you're so worried about, you know, helping your kids and getting the community to believe your story and making sure that coach doesn't think you're the psycho that your ex is telling. And you forget that this is really, it starts with you. Like you
Yeah.
used the word the other day, you know, you're the bedrock of the whole thing. If you're not right with self-worth and confidence, which Leah Marie can coach you on 1,000%, without you being good and stable, the
Yeah.
journey is going to be really hard. I
Yeah.
mean, super hard. So, if you get the high conflict co-parenting course that I just rolled out literally today, I want you to start with the you part. Figure out you first, make sure you got all your ducks in a row, and then start going with the other sections. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
It's going to be
therapy, like,
so good
yeah.
because we get the same kinds of questions over and over. And so
Yeah.
all of the, like from our group coaching clients, from the next
Mhm.
chapter, just from our content and what people comment and the questions they ask.
Right.
So she knows what everybody's struggling with because it's a lot of the same things over and over, and it's all going to be in there. And not to mention, she went through the fucking shitstorm herself for how
Right.
many years of co-parenting with a high
16.
conflict person. And
Right.
so I can't think of anybody better to be doing a course like this.
Right. And what we decided, Leah and I, we have so many clients, like she said, in the next chapter where we see everybody every week, and group coaching, we see everybody twice a month and have email access to us. We see a lot of repeat questions.
Yeah.
And so what I've done inside that course is anytime I'm talking about it 2 or 3 times, I'm like, well, that's 2 or 3 people that need it.
Yeah.
There's probably 200 that
Somebody
really need
needs
it
to
that
know
didn't
this.
ask. So we just make it we'll make it an extra video and put it inside there. But, Leah and I talk about the next chapter. We just tweaked it. And I want you guys to know, those of you that are not in there yet, for 2024, I'm telling you, this is where you need to be hanging out. If you love our content of how we just get on and talk and bullshit, you're going to love the next chapter because the content that's coming in 2024 is remarkable. And well, even next week, I'm doing a training on trial prep. So if you haven't been to trial yet, or you think you could go to trial, maybe for a modification or a contempt charge later, I am literally breaking down like what your ex is going to do, what your attorney is going to want from you, what you need to be doing, your conduct in court, what to wear, what to say, how to do it. Should you cry? Should you not cry? Should you bring a snack? Should you not bring a snack? All those things will be covered just in next week. That's next week. And hell, we're doing a training even Christmas week. Why? Because that's how important it is that you guys have to check in every week to get a training to stay on task, to keep moving forward into your next chapter of healing and moving on with your fucking life. So if it's divorce stuff that we can help you with, or co-parenting, or your own individual stuff, Leah talks all the time. You just did one on self-worth, which I fucking took notes on.
Yeah, that was
Like,
really good.
it was. And self-worth is like literally how the first step in healing with high conflict. Like, you're never going to handle a high conflict co-parent if you don't have self-worth.
Yeah, you have to have self-confidence. You
just
have
not.
to trust yourself and believe in yourself and set strong boundaries. And you can't do any of that if your inner critic is against you, right? Like you've got to be your own cheerleader, and you've got to learn how to really accept yourself, forgive yourself, meet yourself with compassion, all that stuff. That really is the bedrock of your well-being. And these are lessons we've learned the hard way, but it's so true. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, these are the things every single week when you're in the next chapter, you get a training on something that's touching your life. And then when you're in there, you get to also vote. You get to tell us what you want more information on or what you need support with. And we put together a workshop and we do it. And it's live every single Monday. If you can't make the live, the replay stays inside that group for 30 days. So we have a lot of people that are work during the day, then they come home, then they'll watch the training later. And then we also have a live Q&A. I mean, so you get access to us to ask any questions you want. It's so cool. It's such a great little place. And you're in this private, like exclusive members only group. And it's women only. So you get to connect with other people and feel less alone. And then we also put other shit in there because we really have built like it's like a sisterhood in there. We share recipes, like healthy recipes. A lot of the ladies in there we're talking about, they have like weight loss goals and health goals. So we share some healthy recipes. And when we're out, when we have our ass on the treadmill or we're going for a walk outside, we like let you guys know and say, hey, get out there, move your body, do something today. So it's really just like your overall well-being on how to get yourself to a good place during and after divorce, in addition to a shitload of tools for co-parenting and dealing with your relationship afterwards. And I want to go back to, somebody had said, I think it was Patty, when we were talking about what we're grateful for and the divorce. And she says, I'm so grateful for peace, which is priceless, right? Like, and that's something that you think that when you leave a relationship that's a toxic environment that you'll have peace, but that's not necessarily true. You still have to put in the work for yourself to be able to find that place of peace and groundedness. And that's something that you really have to be mindful of on a regular basis.
Right.
Especially with somebody who's toxic, because they've planted all those seeds in your brain to make you second guess yourself. And so that will stay there until
Yeah.
you do the work to
Mhm.
rip those weeds out and start putting in new beliefs.
Right.
And so that piece, you're right, is so priceless. But step one is leaving that toxic environment. Step two is doing the work to find that peace for yourself and to maintain it.
Right. And I think something that's kind of funny about being grateful for divorce, and I've said this before and sometimes I'll catch shit about it, but like when I first got divorced, we did 50-50. And it sucked. I'm not gonna lie. My kids were 1 and 3. It sucked. But as they got older and our schedules changed and all that, let's just say every other weekend. Every other weekend, I had free as a 30 some year old adult to go do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get a full perspective of it until, and this sounds so bad and I don't care if you judge me, until I had these last 2 kids with Jared. And these kids are here every single
All the
weekend.
time. You don't get a break.
And because, I mean, I literally got divorced when my kids were 1 and 3. So when, every other weekend I could sit on my ass or I could mow my
Yeah.
yard and not have to, stop 30 times to go check on my kids. I could,
Go grocery
literally
shopping without
spend
dragging
the
the kids
night
with you.
somewhere. Yeah, like I could go camping. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted every other
Yeah.
weekend. So people were like, "Hey, let's do something." I'm like, "Perfect. I'm free this weekend, this weekend." Boom. And then the weekends I had my kids, I was like all in, all American
Right.
mom doing the shit with them, blah blah blah. And then I had every other weekend off. Then I had these other 2 kids, and like about 2 years in, I'm like, "Fuck, when did we get a weekend off?" Because we don't have any
Right.
help here. We don't have family here. So literally like we don't have anybody helping anybody. So we don't get a night off. I think we have spent 2 nights away from our kids. They're 5 and 4. So like it really hit me how grateful I was for that every other weekend off. Now, is it
Yeah.
ideal? No, it's not what you go into parenting thinking that that's how your life is going to be. But I
Right.
try to
But it
remind
is
people of
fucking
that.
nice.
It
And I
is
wish we could
fucking nice.
normalize this too. And I know, like, listen, we know that in the beginning it's
It
rough.
sucks.
Like when
Oh,
you're first sharing your kids and you don't have them, it's like
mhm.
this emptiness that you can't even explain until you experience it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. However, it gets better. It
You know
does
what
get
you know
better.
when it got better? It got better when I got my mental game under control and I
Yeah.
felt more confident with who I was as a mom when the weekends I had them, to where I didn't have to feel guilty on the weekends I didn't have them, so I actually got to
Yes.
go enjoy myself. I
Yes,
actually
and you
got to
get to,
go
like, you
do
start to
things.
look forward to it
Mhm.
because you learn how to embrace it. Because really
Yeah,
you have 2 choices.
right.
You can't change it, right? If you're sharing
Mhm.
custody, your kids are gonna be gone, however much percentage of the time. You can
Right,
either wallow in your sadness and, like, roam around their bedroom sniffing their stuffed animals, crying until they get home. Option
right,
1. Option
right.
2, learn to make the most of it.
Yeah.
Schedule shit with friends. Do something for yourself.
Mhm.
Enjoy just having the house to yourself, a quiet house where you can clean and whatever, catch up on
Get all your
shit or
shit
move your
done. Yeah,
furniture around or do the
yeah.
laundry or whatever. There's so much that you can do. And so definitely. And now since I'm remarried, we take advantage of that too. Like
Oh,
we get date nights. We don't have to pay a babysitter. She's off having fun with her dad, and then we get time to ourselves and we get to
I know.
watch whatever show we want on TV and just shit
Escapades,
like that.
you can be naked in the living room and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna walk in on you, like, I mean, dating Jared, being younger, we had a great life on the weekends that we didn't have our kids. And then when Walker decided to move home with us, we were so excited, and then it was like weekend 3 of him being home, we're like, "Wait a second, now we have an 11-year-old boy here with us all the time." Like, that just cut down on a couple weekend activities that we
Right.
normally were
Right.
used to doing, but it was fine, it worked out, it was what it was. And I'm just telling you, if you're sitting there miserable right now on Thanksgiving Day and you're dreading going to your in-laws and you're dreading the conversation of the car ride because you're gonna get the kids already all by yourself and they're not gonna help and all they're gonna do is bitch about having to wear the nice shirt and they can't wear their hat and all these things and then complain that you're bitching at them that you have stuff to help cook. And like, if it's just that toxic and that negative and you're like resenting it, why are you still doing it? Like, you're not a bad person. Leah does a great job in her TikToks of just rationalizing with you, of understanding that not everybody's meant to stay married to somebody forever.
Yeah.
One person grows and the other one stays, or both people grow differently, or
Yeah.
both people just realize, fuck, we hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody's supposed to stay married to the same fucking
Yes.
person.
It's not about how many anniversaries you can make it to. Like there's
No.
no honor in staying in a relationship that's destroying you.
Right, right. And so, we're giving you the ability to hang out with us at the next chapter, take advantage of the high conflict co-parenting course and learn something. I'm telling you that course, there's no legal advice inside that course, but what there is a lot of context of tips and tricks that I've learned on how to avoid the person, how to do, I'll just tell it in this way. It's a lot of workarounds. Because
Mhm.
no matter what, the consistency that your high conflict ex is going to give you.
Right, and
So
you
in
can't
that
change
course,
them.
no, no. So in that course, I literally teach you workarounds. They're going to do this, so you do this.
Yeah,
They're going to come at you for this, so say this. Your kids are going to need this, so do this. And
right.
it's a bunch of workarounds. So I've worked my ass off on it. It's 16 years of content, guys. And I think that's why I'm so nervous about launching it. Is literally it's my life in a course. It's
Yeah,
all the training
it's gonna
in
be
a
so
course.
good.
Yeah,
Like, it's such valuable information that anybody can take from it.
right.
Patty's asking, she said she signed up for the wait list, but how does she, like, get access to the course?
Right now, so I just put the link, you can go buy it now. But right now, as soon as we get off here, I'm sending out an email to that wait list. It's going to be one button click and you can gain access. So I was in the midst of writing it and then I realized what time it was. And I was like, oh shit, I got to go put a bra on and get downstairs for Leah Marie. So I'm in the midst of writing that email to everybody right now. But we literally just wanted to come on and let you guys know we've been in your spot today where it's difficult. You don't have your kids or you have your kids and you're getting ready to go to a family event where everybody's going to say, how you doing? You doing
Yeah,
okay being that
no,
single parent?
yeah,
Or your kids have to leave at 2 o'clock. Why do they have to leave at 2 o'clock? Why can't they stay the whole time? And then you're gonna have to explain your visitation schedule and all
yeah.
that bullshit.
Practice
And
your
then
script in advance, you guys.
yes,
If you are gonna
yes,
be around friends or family or whatever, especially
that
ones
are
that are more
annoying.
intrusive and like to ask all the questions, practice
Mhm.
what you're gonna say in advance so that you don't feel like you're put on the spot or like have diarrhea of the mouth and end up saying more than you really intended to say.
Right. So Camila says, this is my issue. I love my in-laws and I love his family. There's nothing saying you still can't be close to them. I'm still
Yeah.
close with my
I,
ex-husband's family.
yes, I've been divorced from my first husband for I don't even fucking know, like 10 years, 9 years. And his sisters and I, we still text each
Mhm.
other happy birthday, happy
Yep.
Merry Christmas. I
Mhm.
mean, there are no rules. The only rule really you need to be setting for yourself is staying true to you. What
Right.
feels right for you?
Right.
That's what you should be doing.
Absolutely. So, no, and he can't tell you, in this situation, Camila, he can't say, you can't be friends with my family.
Yeah.
My ex tried to do that. If you talk to my sister, what?
Yeah.
We're divorced, dude. What are you gonna do? Call the
And
police and press
maybe he'll
charges that
give
I'm
them
talking?
ultimatums, right?
Right.
But then that's their choice too to make.
Right. Right. And I think you have to anticipate that your ex is going to bash you to all those people. He's going to go tell his side of the story
Right.
where he's a victim and, oh, mommy, you don't know what she did to me in the marriage. Oh, sisters, you don't know what she did to me. And they've probably witnessed his banter and they probably know who he is. So, but understand too, though, that they are blood. So sometimes as a parent, I'm trying to think of my son, if Isaiah, who he's dating and with right now, they were to split up, my son is still my son. I'm still going to have a connection with him. Will I still send a birthday card to Isaiah? Absolutely. Will I still well wish him? Sure. But if he asked me to pick, I'm picking my son. So we have to understand that too. Blood is thicker than water, that whole thing for some
Yeah.
people. For
But
some
there's no
people,
harm
that's
in
the way it is.
trying. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with trying and seeing if there's a relationship there to maintain. That's okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people, somebody just said a lot of people's family turn on them. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Sometimes I think it's jealousy that maybe they're in a shitty marriage and then they're like, "Oh, we can't associate with you because you got divorced." And it's like, "Okay, I'm hitting a rock bottom here, going through something that's really hard and you're just going to walk away from me."
Yeah.
It could be belief system, it could be religion, a
Yeah.
cultural belief.
For fear of what other
Um,
people are gonna think or say.
yeah, and to me, that's where we all have to realize as grown adults that we don't necessarily need people to be okay.
Yes. No.
You can be completely fine on your own. You really
Yes.
can. You can. Just
100%.
just hang out with us every week at the next chapter and you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But you don't need anybody. I think a lot of us we turn to people for support and that's good. But ultimately at some point you're going to have to turn to yourself and make yourself right for it
Yeah.
to really work. For it to really work.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if people turn on you, to me that's just a reflection on them that they're believing bullshit and you can't
Yeah.
rescue them.
Because
They'll get burned.
it's your own life. It's so
Yeah.
stupid if you think about it. I mean, you are making choices that you feel is best for you.
You.
For
Mhm.
anybody to judge you that harshly, all that really says to me is they are judging themselves
Right.
even worse, right? For somebody
Yeah.
to be that judgmental to someone else, imagine how self-critical that person must be. So let
Absolutely.
them go. Like some people are not going to understand and they're not going to agree. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's your life. You are the one that lays your head on the pillow at night with all of those thoughts and feelings. You're living it. You're experiencing it. Nobody else is going to understand like you, and nobody
Right.
knows you better than you.
Exactly. That's good. I like that. And right now, if you don't know you, that's where you got to do some work.
Yes.
We're doing a lot of work over in the next chapter with
Yes.
giving you tons of information on how to go about that. I mean,
Yeah,
some of you are
right.
middle
Like, how
aged.
do you even do that?
How do you
Because
even
you have to.
start?
If you
Mhm.
don't do this, you guys, you're gonna make the same kind of mistakes and choices over and over and over because it's like our brains are kind of on autopilot. 90% of what we do is run by our subconscious, which means we don't even really realize what we're doing or why we're doing it. That's
Right.
why that inner work is so important because that lets you see yourself more objectively. That's what empowers you to make better choices and to get different results in your life. You
Right.
can't keep doing the same thing over and over. You're going to get the same results over and over if you do that. Somebody's asking
Absolutely.
how much does your new program cost? I may be blind, but can't find it on the website. I don't think she has it on the website yet, Abby.
Yeah.
But you can get on the wait list, and then she's going to send out an email
It's
today.
it's out on it's on my link tree. So wherever you're at, if you go to the link tree, I put it in the comment section here, Abby. So just scroll up a little bit, and the link is right there. There's payment plans. There's two payments you can make, but you'll save money if you pay in full, and it's just $297. And again, it comes with I think a 34-page workbook or a
Which is
40-page
so
workbook
good.
of literally like step-by-step guide on you learn a lesson, and then it says here's how to implement it into your life. Here's the lesson. Here's how to implement it into your life. Here's what to talk to your kids about. Here's an example. I even gave you examples of what to send teachers to say that comes across as, hey, we're high conflict, but I don't want to be a tattletale about it. But here's what I need from you. I gave
Right.
you explicit examples of like how to communicate to coaches and teachers and professionals in your children's lives to let them know that we're high conflict and I'm not the problem. It's very politically correct. So just be thinking about it. And this is the gift that I want you to give yourself this holiday season. When people are saying, what can I get you? What can I get you? I know my sister and my mom and I just exchanged Christmas lists. And it's like, this is what you need to be asking for. Hey, can I have a Visa card? Because I want to get online and buy this course that's going to help my 2024 season with my high conflict co-parent. I really think this is something that is going to be eye-opening. I know my assistant who worked on the workbook, she watched the whole course, obviously, because she was helping me build the workbook. And she just said, holy shit, Sam, the workbook alone is amazing. But
Yeah.
you talking about things, she goes, you made me believe that I can do it. You made me believe that this is tangible, that like I could implement that. And I'm going to share a little bit about what's in the course. In the course, I talk about using a code word for your kids. And this is, who I'm talking about, that my assistant that did the workbook. She said, Sam, I implemented your code word policy with my kids because they just started doing exchanges again with their biological dad. And she goes, her and I were sitting and talking, having a meeting. And she had just told me 20 minutes earlier in the conversation, she implemented the code word policy that I talk about. And the code word policy is basically if something bad's happening, do this. If something, I'm just not feeling settled, like there's a lot of bad shit happening, nothing worthy of like coming to pick me up, but I'm not feeling the best, in this moment right now, do this. And so their code was to send an emoji, a certain emoji. And so her and I are talking. And out of nowhere, she goes, oh my God. She goes, she just sent me an emoji. And it was the emoji for, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it later, but just send me a prayer. Send me a good thought right now. And so her and I were excited, like, oh my God, it worked. She feels like she can reach out to you and send the emoji, and she knows that you're struggling. And the mom was like, perfect. I'll be ready to go when I pick her up because I'll know that she had went through something and we can talk about it and I can fill her love tank up. And then it hit us. We're like, oh shit. But she's going through something too. Like, so we were excited that the daughter felt comfortable to use her watch to send the emoji and it worked. But then the realization of like, oh shit, she's in a bad spot right now.
Right.
And like, but the mom is prepared now. She's prepared when she picks up that she knows the kids went through something. She's able to like get all of her ducks in a row, put her face on, and get ready to talk, which you also learn inside the course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just little tools like that I learned along the way that I think help you keep bonding your relationship with your child as that high conflict co-parent is
because
trying
that's the
to
only way to support
ruin
them,
it.
right? If
Yeah.
they're in a situation that you can't change your ex, and
Mhm.
if they have custody, however, whatever percentage, they're going to have to continue to go. So then all you can do is empower them by giving them tools. How do you
Right.
navigate being over at
Yeah.
dad's house or mom's house? What can I do? What can I do differently? What should I not do? Giving them the tools to make it easier on them. And
Mhm.
Amanda, yes, a lot of people, money is tight for a ton of people. It's
Yeah.
obvious, yes, especially during
Mhm.
divorce, especially during the holidays. That's why we made the next chapter $30,
Right.
because everybody can afford $30.
Yep.
And it's something that you get so much information and so many tools and access to us to ask us
Right.
specific questions during Q&A. And you stay in there as long as you want. You just cancel whenever you want to. We did that
Right.
on purpose. Trust us. We had so many, because we work with coaches too. Like, I'm in a mastermind group, and
Mhm.
I have a business coach. Sam has like a marketing coach. And everyone was like, why are you only pricing at $30? Like, that's too low. You need to raise it. You're giving too much. You're like undercutting yourself. It's too much value. And we're like,
Yeah.
listen, we've been divorced single fucking moms.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
People can't afford to be spending a bunch of money. We want to
Right.
have an option for people to come and to feel less alone and to get all of these tools and all of this information
Right.
for cheap. We don't want them
Yep.
to have to spend a lot of money. And so that's why
Yep.
it's $30.
Absolutely. And even my course, you guys, for 10 hours of content plus, it's going to keep growing to probably 15 to 16 hours of content over the next few months. It's pennies on the dollar of what you're going to learn, the piece that you're going to find, the tools you're going to use, the strategy to help cut costs down
Because think of how
with
many
your high
years
cost.
you're going to be co-parenting. That's the other thing. Like, how
Mhm.
old are your kids? How many years do you have left to this?
Yep. Yep. So, and you never know when we're going to give a giveaway. Lee and I, we get a feeling, a vibe sometimes, and we're like, you never know, but I wouldn't bank on it. I would make sure I have the material. That's what I
Yeah.
would do. I'd make sure I have the
Amanda,
material.
just go to samandleah.com. Everything that we do together is on there. She's asking how do you get to the next chapter.
Yep.
Go to samandleah.com. You can see the next chapter, and it'll take you to the page where you get even more info too if you're looking for more information. But yeah, $30. It's awesome.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, we need to duck out. I need to get my email sent out. So if you've been on the wait list, expect an email in the next 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm jumping on the treadmill. I'm going to get a good sweat on, or I think I might try to walk outside and just go back to finding my peace and calm before I head to my in-laws' house
Yeah, you
today.
gotta find your zen, and then so you can hold on to that all day until you come
And
back home.
And I ain't no fool. I launched this product on Thanksgiving Day so that I can have my computer out and be like, oh, I got to check work. Oh, I got to check my launch. Oh, I got to go in the other room. And I'm going to be
Yes.
checking my computer today.
Is this
So
Katie? Is it Katie Grice? Is that your Katie?
that's my Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Katie is the one that makes everything on our page, all of our posts look so freaking elegant
She
and
makes
pretty.
everything pretty. Yeah.
She has a gift that she needs to quit her teaching job and just do marketing for people
Yeah.
online.
Because
So
Canva is not our
Canva, she's
forte.
the queen of Canva, and she knows how to work that shit like you wouldn't believe. We
Yeah.
really do have. I mean, I think that's another thing we need to say peace and graceful for, like right before we leave. The amount of people that work for us
Yes.
that
We have
do
a
a good
great
job
team.
at their job and they love what they do because they know, like, Katie's happily married, but it's really turn the volume up for Nate. Katie's happily married, but she's my best friend for like what, Katie, 20 years. So she literally knows my system and how I think and how I feel, so she can put stuff out. But everybody that works for us besides Katie is divorced, is a single parent, and they all love what they do because they know that it impacts you. They know that, like, when Katie posts something, you stop and see it and you think about it. When our other assistants work and do stuff for you, like building this workbook and everything, and Gwen that helps me, like Sine, everybody knows that what they do helps you guys, and everybody wants that. So I think it's really important that we're surrounded by good people. You should be surrounded by good people,
Yeah. It
and
really does
it's
make
funny.
a difference.
All the people that work for us, none of them have we ever really been in I've never, except for Katie, I have never seen any of the people that work for us. They're
Right. It's
all on
all
the internet.
virtual. I know.
They're
Everybody. We
all on the
literally put
internet.
together a whole
We
team
put it together, and you
on
and
the
I have
internet.
never met. You and
Yeah.
I have never met face to
In
face.
person. I know. I would probably cry. The first
I'd
time
be
we
so
actually get to hang out
excited.
in person, I'm gonna be like,
And I think I'm gonna be weirdly surprised how short you are. Because I'm
You're gonna be
5'8".
surprised how tall you are. Because when we're here, when we're on these, we're always kind of the same height. But I know in person, you're probably gonna be like, oh.
I feel like on your videos, like when you're dancing and stuff in your house, I feel like you look tall, and I
No,
don't know why.
I'm 5'4".
I'm 5'8", so this is gonna be weird. Like I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have like a whole head length on you. But how tall is David?
6 or 6'1", maybe. Yeah, he's
Okay.
tall. Yeah.
Yeah. So is Jer. So yeah,
Yeah.
Katie should
Thank
quit
you,
her
Katie,
job,
for
Nate.
everything you do. That recent one you did, I loved, where you like posted like, hey, this is what's this week. This is next week in the next chapter. I took that one and put it all over the place because it looked really nice.
I know. Think about how many people she could work for where she just sits at home and makes Canva posts all day.
Yeah, people need
She
it because
she could make her teaching salary very easily. So, and that's the other thing, you guys. If you're thinking about 2024 and you're broke because you're divorced and you're going through something,
start
I'm
something.
telling you,
Start a business, sell a
something.
course, sell something on Etsy, flip furniture, go to the thrift store and flip furniture on fucking Facebook Marketplace.
Do it.
Whatever you're good at, you can make money doing it. I promise.
Yeah, if your feet are pretty, take pictures of them. You know, you got a good ass, get on OnlyFans. Like, do what you got to do to make that
No
extra
shame in the
income.
single mom game.
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, I don't think dick pics go for a lot, Dad. So, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I know I don't want any fucking dick pics and I'm not spending money on any. So, but I digress. All right. That went sideways real fast. Okay, you guys have a good Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Love you all. I'm proud of everybody who's here right now, showing up, trying to get some information. Do something for yourself today, whether it's just saying some affirmations, looking at yourself in the mirror. When was the last time you really did that, where you just kind of looked at yourself in the mirror and said something nice to yourself? Do something, do some gratitude practice, maybe 5 things you're grateful for today. But it'll change how you feel. It does make a difference.
Right. And give somebody, when you go somewhere today, give somebody a compliment, change their day too by just making a small little comment. Like, I love the way you did your hair today.
Yeah.
That looks really good. Just try to change your path just a little bit. Don't become somebody you're not, but just take that extra time in your day to notice something and sit and be grateful for it, or sit and compliment somebody for it, and go up, like, I need to go upstairs and be like, thanks for having peace with me today, even though I'm giving you anger, because I've just been really tense this morning. So I'm a lot better now. I'm a lot better. Leah always brings the calm to me. I have to go back and reread your message from this morning. I'm like, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work. So you guys have a good turkey day. We'll be in here again next week. We're going to take, tomorrow off and the weekend, but Monday we're again in the next chapter. We're giving trial prep. So get in there. But if you need high conflict co-parenting help right now, give yourself a gift. This is the course for you.
This is the course that you're going to want.
Link is everywhere. I think it's the Ugly Truth of Co-parenting /course. So uglytruthofcoparenting.com/course.
But it's in her link tree. So if you're any social media that you're on, go to her account and click on the little link tree and it'll be in there.
And it's in the comment section here a couple times. So you guys have a good turkey day. Appreciate you all. We'll be back again next week. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your family and your kiddos.